We've created a monster.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Role Players Guild, where we ask the important
Hello.
questions.
Mm-hmm.
We will just jump right into tonight's episode of the Dream Dealers of Fairhaven. I am Beluga, your guildmaster here at the Role Players Guild, and I play Fist of the Queen, a dwarven barbarian monk multi-class. Alex, take it away. Laura, this is your warning.
Hello everyone. I am Falcon and I play Xylix Searster, the I always mix this up. Nature Druid Star Cleric multiclass. And I ask you all as an audience, if Huggy Wuggy was a bear, Huggy Wuggy had no hair. Wait, no, how did it go? Huggy
Fuzzy
Wuggy was a
Wuzzy.
bear. Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't fuzzy. Dang it, how did it go? I completely lost it now. We'll get back to it. Or it's you.
The answer to your question is 42. Hello. I'm Laura. I play Gilgath, who's a little auto gnome robot soul knife rogue. Fuzzy Wuzzy. I don't know. And now it's Scott's turn. Haha, you have no recourse.
I have plenty of recourse. I am not B, but B's not here, so apparently I will be playing Justice for B. Or not, so we can just have him get hit by a truck as soon as he walks out the door and she'll never know. I am, however, definitely playing in a much less likely to die in horrible accident unintentionally Elspeth, the Storm Sorceress. And I think that's enough for me, Jason.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, B's spouse. Welcome, everybody, to another exciting, action-packed, adventure-filled episode of Dungeons and Dragons. My name is Jason. I will be your guide to the light. And tonight, you brave, but perhaps foolish adventurers have found yourselves in the plane of Eberron. On the continent of Corvair, right? In the nation of Onder, in the city of Fairhaven, which is the capital of Onder, which is in Corvair, which is in the realm of Eberron. Macro, mini, right? We try to keep everybody up. All right. You have been tasked with an investigation, a mystery to solve. When last we met, you all kind of found yourself solving a murder mystery on a train. Making your way off that train, you were asked to meet at the headquarters of the investigative arm of the City Watch for the city of Fairhaven, where you met in the office of a gentleman named Saffron and another individual named Mystere. What do we remember about these two individuals?
They are currently on the tails of an investigation. Something about the Dream Whisperers. They couldn't officially investigate a certain area, and that's why they're asking us to do it.
I specifically put down that when Xylak was talking about what we saw on the train and mentioned the woman having very large, piercing blue eyes, that here, who I was watching, because I was watching both of them very closely because I'm a rogue and they're cops, did react. She had a reaction. It wasn't positive or negative, it was just a reaction.
Right. Okay. So yeah, there's definitely something very alien about Mystere, right? The features are a little just very perfect, very very poised. Just kind of a, I don't know, just kind of a sense that this is not just an ordinary elf, perhaps. Hard to say exactly. Not an ordinary individual. There's just something very, just very alien, very, but also very potent about her as well. You all agreed to a deal. Saffron, who is charged with kind of helping to keep people safe in Fairhaven, things okay, came to you with a bit of a quest or a bit of a mystery you were asked to solve. And as Laura pointed out, it was a little above Saffron's pay grade, right? He wanted adventures. Anybody remember why he wanted adventurers to take care of this?
Oh God,
Wasn't-
I don't remember. I didn't write that down.
Wasn't
Okay.
it to kind of like bypass certain jurisdictions and
Oh yeah, because it was happening
laws
like
that they
all over
didn't
the city.
follow?
Yeah. Okay.
Because people don't talk
Yeah,
to
so-
cops and you don't need warrants.
There you go, right? Okay. Exactly. Sometimes, and you kind of get that, and it was never actually communicated officially, but it was kind of implied that sometimes adventurers can step through certain jurisdictions. They can cut through some red tape here and there when need be, and you kind of get that sense that, like, it's that we will deny all info if you all are caught, kind of thing, right? But you're certainly needed. Okay. So with that, he kind of, I'll go through that mission, essentially, that need that was given. He said a few months ago, a wealthy merchant named Gorman Utali set up shop in the Fairhaven Sky Mall district, right, and began selling an item called the Lucidia Stones. They're super popular. They allow lucid dreaming, essentially, right? Allow you to kind of take control of your dreams. And shortly after that, a series of strange occurrences began happening. People began committing very violent crimes. People began acting erratically, doing things that were very out of character. People began kind of zoning out and becoming zombies. And some of these are actual key people that are that these things are happening to. And the only real common thread between each of these instances is that each of these people were known to have used these Lucidia stones. Saffron would like for you to investigate what's going on. And there was a deal on the table that was put in place. How much gold did we settle on for finding out?
200.
2,000 for the party,
That's right. Never mind. Sorry.
Plus accommodations.
and access to gear and equipment.
Okay.
Yes.
Access to gear and equipment. Okay.
And like
Excellent.
necessary like records.
Okay. All right. Access to gear and necessary records. So he then offers up
free
a
Sundays.
series- Oh, free Sundays. Not bad. So what he does do, so he kind of gets into his desk a little bit and comes out with what looks like a small black plate, maybe about the size of a little tablet, maybe about the size of a little bigger than a business card, right? And it feels like it looks like it has some weight to it. He sets it on the desk before him, and he begins to kind of wave his hands a little bit and begins to speak a certain spell. While he's doing this, he looks back and forth at Mystere, and they just kind of exchange knowing glances and an occasional nod. And when he's finished, he picks this up and he hands it to each of you, and it says, "This will get you what you need, just about anywhere in the city."
Can I gather what type of spell he was casting? Like,
Yeah, I would like to maybe provide assistance to if I can't. I don't know if I can yet.
That's what I just rolled for Elspeth.
Oh, I can't.
oh,
So
Okay. Let me click
Did you
on that
roll a
little.
20?
Okay. Arcana check.
that she rolls 20s and 1s when it's Arcana checks. So
Okay.
That's
So
fine.
I'm curious about how this all kind of played out. So when he was doing this, right, was Elsbeth leaning over, magic comes and speaking the incantation for detect magic or an Arcana check, or was it just like a
Just observation. She at one
Okay.
point was trying to get into the good wizard school and never did.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
she at one point did study some things and tried to until she decided it was much easier to just say screw that and become a sorcerer or do sorcerer things.
You got it. Okay. Awesome. Okay. And then Gilzap, kind of leaning over to help out, right?
Well, I actually don't have proficiency in Arcana, so I can't actually be helpful.
Okay.
But Xylek, I believe, was.
I don't have
yeah.
proficiency in Arcana either.
No.
Okay.
But I was just interested learning different kinds of magics. So
Okay.
this was just kind of
Yeah.
like a sidewards glance to what he was casting. I rolled a 14.
Okay. You got it. We have a 14 and then a nat 20, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So you're pretty aware. So yeah, Elsbeth, you're very aware of what this is. And then I don't know, Zylek, you're pretty sure you kind of figured out what this is. Southron kind of looks up and it says it's a simple credit. It's a simple credit piece. You display it anywhere there's a reader in town. Find one of the kiosks. It'll allow you to buy things within reason. There is a limit, so don't go crazy. And it occurs to you it's probably some kind of like in our world we would call it a bank card or a debit card or credit card of sorts. But yeah,
Credit.
What color was it?
It was black.
A
And we-
black card.
All the fancy ones.
And we each get one?
It was made out of metal too, right?
Right. It was like a
Yeah.
like a stone, I would say. It feels kind of like a rock material, maybe.
Ooh,
And there's one for the party.
One for the
made out of
party.
stone.
One for the party.
I'm assuming that Fist, who is right next to the desk, takes that before someone with less responsibility does.
Absolutely.
You bet.
So
Okay.
you cut off a little bit when you said that, and all I heard was before someone of lesser. And I am lesser in all ways, height and morals.
Okay. All right. So yeah, with that, it says if you guys don't mind, I'd like to brief you all on what we know.
Absolutely.
He kind of settles back. Yeah, and so he kind of settles back, and there's this representation on his desk that kind of forms different. It's kind of like maybe a thaumaturgy driven device. It's like an area on his desk that begins to produce like 3D representations, right? Made from small pieces of sand, perhaps, and it's all like a monochrome color. But as he works through, he says, these are a list of people I'd like for you to investigate. And you see this image of a man that kind of appears, kind of maybe like slightly older gentleman, looks well traveled. And a name appears underneath. Title says Gorman Utali. Right? This is the merchant we told you about. He runs a shop over in the Sky Mall district, which is like this area of Fairhaven where it kind of has these like floating towers. It's like a big shopping district, right? And usually only the better shops or the higher end, more expensive storefronts they occupy these buildings. It's kind of known for it's rooftop shopping essentially. You might pay a visit to that store and see what you can learn. And that image and like it's like a map that appears as well, and it shows this like huge structure, this floating obelisk structure in the sky, and it indicates the shop to be at the very top of the structure. And that image fades. Another image appears of another individual. It says, "This is Brendan Faywell. He's a professor at the Arcanic Center at the Arcanics Academy of Magic. He was placed on administrative leave after teaching forbidden magic to his most advanced students." This is very out of character, as he was always somebody who kind of kept to the rules and kind of kept a straight line with that stuff, I would say. Anyway,
What's his name?
you might have a. Go ahead.
Brandon Fraser.
What was his name?
Brendan Fayweld. Most likely
Same thing.
played by Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brendan Fayweld, professor of magic at the Arcanics Academy of Magic. Okay. His residence is on the outskirts of town, a small farmhouse out in the yonders. He's most likely home, probably working in his garden, as he's not really allowed to teach or to work. The image changes to kind of a stately-looking female, and perhaps progress a little bit in age. Glasses, gray hair, swung neatly about the shoulders. They look like they kind of have poise. They look very wise. Mayweather Westloon, she's a member of the Arcane Congress. She just kind of lost her mind after having used the Lucidia stones. They were in session at one point, and she just kind of started babbling and going off. Interestingly enough, some of the things that they were discussing in Congress have a lot to do with things like commerce, larger policies, education, healthcare, all of those things. It's a little too perfect of a strike, if you know what I mean. Her apartment, I didn't write down the district. We'll say it's in the Neilford ward. It's kind of like a nicer upper class area. And it shows directions to her apartment. And the image changes to another one, a gruff looking man with a beard and kind of a bald head. Maybe a little like me, I guess. I don't know. Tobias Gravemore. Tobias was a wealthy merchant until he murdered two of his associates, two of his staff, at one of his textiles factories here in town. We showed up to investigate. He came at us, came at my men, nearly killed one of them. We had to put him down. There might be answers at his textiles factory. His residence is currently unknown. Perhaps he can find some clues there. That's what we've got so far. He kind of turns off the, kind of with a wave of his hand, he shuts off the display and takes off his viewing glasses that he had and says, "Go to work." He tosses them on the desk.
Is that display attached to his desk?
It appears to be. It doesn't appear to be any kind of a separate contraption. It's like his desk just kind of molds from one mode to another, from like a flat desk that you can write on to just like being this like area where 3D objects kind of come into view.
I want one of those. That sounds fun.
Not bad. Mystere steps forward and says, "Of course, we'll be happy to provide any support that's necessary along the way. Do you have any questions before we get started?"
Yes, I have a question. You almost hinted at that the one magistrate was too convenient of a target. Are you implying that you have a theory that these people weren't chosen at random, that they were specifically pointed out to be affected by these Lucidia stones?
She pauses for a moment and kind of chooses her words carefully and says, "Yes. We can't make conjectures until we have more information, but looking at the data, looking at what we have with each of these individuals, they're all kind of key people."
Right.
And that's what has us so concerned.
Have you managed to connect these people at all with any sort of common circumstance or connection of any way or form?
They all come from different walks of life, different industries, different groups, different backgrounds. The only common thread through each of these instances, through each of these people, is they were all known to use the Lucidia stones.
Right. Have you looked into the actual manufacturer of these stones? That it could be a defect of the product itself?
It's possible. We know that they came from Utali's shop. We know that Utali has an exclusive deal to sell them. We're not sure about the details.
Have you spoken to Utali?
No.
He's not a, what's the word? Subject or what do you call it? Person of interest?
He's obviously a person of interest, but he's not somebody that we wanted to talk to. Actually, this whole thing isn't something that we want to deal with directly. We can offer support, but we hired adventurers for a reason.
Right. Well, I mean, it might be worth entertaining the thought, at least. If all these people are going crazy from the stones, and it could be the stones are the head of the snake.
It's possible. Make a quick insight check, Xylet.
Insight. Oh, +5, not bad. That's a 12.
Okay. All right. So it's a little higher in the middle of the road. So maybe I won't spell it out for you, but I'll see if I can lead you to a conclusion. So this branch of the City Watch, right? They handle things like special investigations, things like that. They likely have the resources to investigate these things themselves and to talk to, they could talk to Utali, right?
Mm-hmm.
They could, name them as a person of interest, all those things. But they didn't, right? They hired y'all, right? Why would that be? On a 12, that's about all I can. On a 12 on the roll, that's what I'll give you. Why would that be, right?
Mm-hmm. All right. So it's not like they're not interested in.
Correct.
Okay. Understood.
Good.
Well,
all right. So with.
Go ahead, Elspeth.
No, if you were going, keep going.
I suggest to the party then that we add this Utali person to our list of interested persons. Along with everyone.
I think that's a good idea.
I'm going to let all of you know that Elspeth will nod to things like this, but in character, she is not taking notes, and her memory is, very specialized. So I am taking notes, but she will not remember this down the line, just most likely than not. So that's
reverse. Okay. My character remembers all of this stuff. I don't.
Okay.
I'll do you one better. I'm both.
All right.
So my note takers, you've got this. Just remind me what I know.
Okay.
I've written down names, but Gilzath would be writing down in his mind a lot more than that.
Okay.
In addition to that, Elspeth was going to actually address either of them, either Mister or Saffron. And just with support of the god in this sense, how far does that extend based off of what we do? For instance, there's a difference between walking into a shop and asking particularly pressing questions of, say, a purveyor of stones, and walking into that same shop and exploding all of the stones without any discussion. Does the guard's assistance cover one, both, none of those?
Or
We can cover you.
buying all of the stones and then throwing them into the river, but also collecting all of the cash that you can get from them from the black market. I don't know.
Right. So yeah, Southern kind of looks over the party and says, "We'd prefer for you to keep a lower profile. We can easily protect you as long as you stay within the bounds of the law. Outside of that, it gets a little more gray, if you know what I mean."
Yes, which is why I was looking for more assurance on that front.
Yeah, I think, Elspeth, that going a little too heavy-handed or aggressive could potentially tip off the perpetrator, I think they're called. So
I
like,
live in the gray area. You can
uh,
go with me.
I mean, just barging into a shop and completely destroying the man's revenue could be a bit too heavy-handed.
Well, if there are ill-gotten gains that are going to generate more ill-gotten gains and are going to incur further incidents down the line, I simply want to know whether or not I'd be arrested, or we would be arrested, as the case may be for such a thing, or if there would be, one of those, "Oh, you did bad, here's that little rap on the knuckles, and off you go."
Well, they'd have to catch us first.
It's not that hard to catch us, I assure you. Not me, at least.
I don't know if you all noticed, but I kind of stick out compared to all of you. But
My obligations prevent me from getting into certain acts without a sufficient awareness of not imperviousness, but, acceptance of the consequences.
So he just kind of looks across the table at each of you and says, "We'll support you as much as within the bounds, or as much as prudent within the bounds of our duty. We will not cover up evil acts."
Nor will I
Define
allow
evil.
it.
Define evil.
His eyes shift to you, Fist. Right? No. Yeah. Right. Sorry, I have the characters in my other notebook.
I am Fist. Laura's
Fist.
Gildath.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. On the Queen's errand, Paladin. Right.
Not Paladin. But I am her muscle.
Alrighty. Good. Let me grab that notebook. Here, his eyes shift to you, Fist.
Out of character,
and he just
I'm
says,
a
"Thank
barbarian
you."
monk.
Barbarian monk. That's right. Who's the paladin?
priest to the
That'd be
world.
Oh,
Justice.
Justice is the
yeah.
paladin.
Justice was the paladin.
Yeah.
Paladin
Gotcha.
is
Okay.
brown, so.
All right. Good.
Oh, so the crowd. That's
Here we go. Okay. I have those out. So his eyes shift to you, Fist, and he makes note of like your attire and those things about you that might identify you as an agent of the Queen.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "Thank you." All right. So with that, it seems prudent for you to choose your next location.
Before we go, though, we were promised supplies if we need them
well, that's what the
from the
guard
guard. Is there some sort of supply storage we could go into to get them? To
His eyes shift to Mystere. So he shoots a glance at Mystere. And Mystere kind of gives they just kind of have this moment where they will kind of agree. And and then he kind of waves his hand over the desk, and he summons one of these guard guys here, and whose name is Theodore.
Theo
Definitely not
Door.
just now.
Last name
Door is
Door.
the last name.
Yeah.
And it's actually
Exactly.
T-O-O-R. Yeah.
Yeah.
His middle name is
Theo,
John. It's Theodore. Theo John Door.
John.
Yeah.
There may be a connection there, right?
Yep.
There may be
Son
a
of
yeah.
Ted John?
Yep.
My uncle makes doors. And indicates that Theodore will show you the way to the requisition room where you can pick out anything you need. He directs
Cool.
you to this direction and begins kind of walking down the hall. And I'll open up the room where that stuff is stored. Here.
I know we
And it
don't
kinda
know
gets,
exactly what we need yet, but
Mhm.
any
Yeah.
excuse to see what I can steal. I mean, borrow.
Oh, okay. Right. So what you see here is essentially just run-of-the-mill, run-of-the-mill weaponry, armor, things like that. Arrows, bows, crossbows, small crossbows, axes, hand axes, knives, daggers, swords, short swords, long swords, all those things. There's a
Medium-sized
flail, medium-sized swords, long swords, short swords, big swords, little swords, right? All those things. There's essentially just about
Sword
anything
is
you could
too
imagine, right? Yeah, it's essentially anything that you could that would kind of realistically be within a requisition depot or kind of like a weapon storage place. Theodore steps to this book here and begins kind of writing down who needs what. What will it be for you all?
Looking around, what is the most easily pawnable object in the room that'll get me a good, that won't be superly missed. It's not like the best thing in the whole wide world, but oh, I broke that sword. Sorry.
Right. There is there's a short sword that kind of sticks out. That seems like it's pretty well made. Maybe it was an older issue back when materials were cheaper and they made these things a little nicer.
I'm gonna take one of those and say, I need
Okay.
this. I don't have any weapons.
Okay. He writes it down.
I'll look for a suitable shield, preferably wooden.
Okay.
And you know what? Hold. I have a mace already, but I might want to do shillelagh.
Okay.
So I'll look for a quarterstaff as well.
Okay.
Or I don't know. Quarterstaff can be wielded one-handed, right?
I'm not sure.
I thought it was two-handed. Let me see.
I think it's
We can look it up.
1d6 one-handed and 1d8
it's like a
two-handed.
versatile.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a versatile weapon.
Okay.
So yeah,
actually, it's used with one or two hands. Damage value in parentheses appears with the property. So 1d6 one-handed, 1d8 two-handed.
Okay. Maybe just like a club then. It'll still be the same.
Okay. All right. Gonna grab a club instead of the quarterstaff.
It's 1d4. I'll stick with the quarterstaff.
Okay.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, 1d6 is better than 1d4.
Yeah. And then I also have so many trips. I don't know if I'm still trying to figure out how I want to play him. If I want to be like an upfront fighter, or because I can do heavy armor. I have a shield. I have a lot of good damage spells, and I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, we
It's
already have Fist
Justice
and
himself.
Justice and Gilzaf all would, unless you have Gilzaf doing more like crossbow, like.
Gilzaf, specifically because of the Soul Blade thing, creates psychic daggers.
Oh,
But he
okay.
can throw.
Alright, so
Yes.
Fist and Justice at the very least are already up in melee, so
Yeah.
either way you do it, it's going to be
Yeah.
fine, because you have 2 in the back and then 2 up front, so.
Yeah, I could be a pretty good like mid-range spell slinger or upfront fighter. I can really do
Yeah.
either or.
Okay.
So I guess
Frankly,
we'll see.
if you're getting a club, as long as you have Shillelagh as one of your druid spells, then you're good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that allows me to use my.
It also does real damage because it doesn't really do the damage of the club. It does Shillelagh damage, plus it lets you use Wisdom for your attack modifier.
Exactly.
It's magical damage.
Yep.
It's also a cantrip, as I recall, so you can just keep it always rolling.
A bonus
Yeah,
action
it's a
cantrip?
bonus
That's
action,
the
yeah.
only one,
Yeah, it's a
right?
bonus action cantrip. That's what I use for my druid in the Sunday campaign, Alex.
Yeah, that's why I was looking into
Yeah.
it because I saw how like versatile it could really be.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna get rid of the mace.
Good.
Quarterstaff.
Anything else for anybody else?
I think Fist has everything she needs. She has her fists.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's not like
My mitts.
shelves of potions or alchemical things, are there?
Oh yeah, if there's like potions, that might be the.
Ooh, yeah. Consumables
Okay.
that I've consumed.
Right.
Definitely why I don't have them anymore.
Because Elspeth is like, these are weapons and that is not my jam. What are we doing here?
Yep. Says we have 19. We have 19 standard healing potions.
Ooh.
And 1 water breathing potion. Do you need those?
Healing potions for sure.
Yeah.
Does anybody, specifically the two spellcasters that are spellcasters, do either of you have the mending spell?
Let me check. I don't have it prepared today.
It's a cantrip.
Yeah, it's a cantrip.
I'm sure I could find a way to fuse metal.
I don't think.
Well, it's only that the mending cantrip actually heals me.
Oh yeah.
Like, healing machine is an auto-gnome racial feature. So if the mending spell is cast on you, you can spend a hit die, roll it, and you regain a number of hit points equal to the roll plus my constitution.
I can prepare it.
Sweet.
See, the issue with mending is it's a 1-minute cantrip. So
yeah, so you couldn't do it in the middle of a combat, but if I needed healing after a combat.
Yeah, but you can still benefit from regular healing.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So no, Elspeth can, in fact, however, strike you with lightning if that's exciting.
I think that might fry all my circuits, literally.
Only one way to find out.
But if you like die, it might bring you back to life. Get the charges going again.
Yeah.
Goblin jumper cables.
Yep.
Goblin jumper cables.
I would be okay with testing this after we get paid.
Well, there's money to buy a scroll of true resurrection, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or at least a really good repair.
Oh.
All right. Yeah. All right.
So bit of a
looks up
hiccup.
and says, anything else for anybody?
A bit of a hiccup with mending. I actually can't. With cantrips, you choose ones at the start, and then they don't change. It doesn't look like you can change your.
It's okay. I do benefit from healing potions, so we just might need.
I think like an optional feature is that like every certain amount of levels you can like change out a cantrip for a different one. So that's always an option for the future.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you didn't know me when you were first starting out as a druid back in.
True.
Where are you from?
The Shadow Marsh.
Yeah, back in the Shadow Marsh. Do they even have robots there?
No, not in the slightest.
Wow.
I also kind of lived as a hermit for the majority of my life, so I don't really have much social interaction. I tell you, it's quite a lot to take in being in such a crowded environment now. I'm so much more used to the swamps than this concrete jungle.
I don't think I've ever met anybody who's a hermit in my life. I want you to tell me everything.
Not really much to tell. Not a lot goes on when you're just living out in the swamp by yourself. Although I did learn how to commune with my gods then, but that's for another day.
That's fair.
Elspeth just sort of exits stage left on all of that and heads back to the waiting room.
All right. All right. Have you decided where you want to investigate first?
Oh,
I don't know if you want to.
the home with the garden sounded nice.
Yeah, and also not
teacher.
Okay.
Not a crazy person, no offense to crazy people, or a murderer for the child.
Well, the murderer is dead.
On that note, I think Justice is gonna be like, yeah, I think we can. I should be getting the little one home, but that sounds close enough to on the way that we can sort of tag along for that one. Although I'm not sure I like the idea of dark magic around certain someone, but I'm sure that she and I could just wait outside if y'all are going to be doing any of that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
All right. So yeah. So is it the residence of Brendan Faywill? Going to investigate?
That's what I was guessing people were talking about with the house with the garden.
Yeah, it's a small house on the outskirts of the city.
On the bus ride over, or the trolley, or the magic floating disc ride over.
Airship, right?
Airship.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try my best to sit next to the small child and corrupt the little one's minds with thoughts of stealing things. I don't know. Whatever.
You mean I can take things out of people's pockets?
Yeah,
no, you absolutely may not. You can, but you should not.
I mean, but if you can and no one stops you.
Yeah,
that is not how morals work. See, there's this thing called an ethical code, and we'll talk about this at home.
If no one stops you, then it doesn't matter.
This code only applies if you leave. Like, you don't have to agree.
So yeah, we should talk a little bit about getting around in Fairhaven, right? There is a public transportation system within the city. That's kind of a smaller light rail setup. But for where you're going, you'll need to move over the city walls, as you'll be visiting some of the outbound areas on the outskirts of the city. Fertile farmlands cover a lot of the regions just outside of Fairhaven. And every so often there are small residences, small villages, small groups that have kind of cropped up since the end of the last war. And some of them have kind of established homesteads. This place is one such homestead. It was built quite a while back. It's an older place, but it sits out on a small property. There is a grove of trees, a garden, and whatnot. And You can kind of see that in the distance as you're kind of traveling on board this this airship. Let's see. Let me bring you all to that map.
Traveling by airship. Oof.
I used to traveling by airship, although usually I do travel by land. I'm talking to Xylek about this the whole time.
As you're talking to me, you see my scaled hands and my claws dig into the sides of the seats, and if a lizard could go pale, I've gone pale. Because this is completely new to me and I'm very uncomfortable.
All right. You are a bit high up, and there are a few other passengers on board this airship. It does make a couple stops here and there along the way at different spots along the city. At one point, this airship actually stops at this huge shopping district, this huge, these buildings essentially kind of in the sky, where this ramp is kind of brought down from the airship, and a bunch of people kind of exit the airship on their way to do some shopping, it looks like. And then it kind of continues on and eventually crosses the city wall. And the expanse kind of opens up into what looks like just kind of fields. And eventually there's this kind of landing platform where it begins its descent and stops at this platform. Your destination is just a short distance away from that platform. Maybe
Was it very
a 5 or
crowded
10-minute
until
walk.
you got here?
Once you actually got out, there were only a few other passengers that
But like
that
when
were
we
on
in
board
the
that
city,
airship.
was it crowded?
Somewhat. There were probably about 16 passengers on board, so not like
But not like
a huge
standing
amount.
room only or anything. Okay.
No, everyone had a fairly comfortable seat, a little bit of elbow room.
Carry on a conversation with one person while you're picking the pockets of another person, unless you're standing like this close to them.
Right? Could be a little difficult, but it's possible.
Yeah.
Right?
16 people sounds like everyone had a seat and like had space. So.
There were some space. You probably would have to create a real distraction to successfully pickpocket. Like, what's that out the window, right?
Casual
The residents,
pickpocketer.
right? Casual. The residence of Brendan Fayweld appears before you, and it's just kind of an old stately house. Let's see, is everybody on that map?
Yeah.
Which part of it would you like us to drag ourselves onto, if that's what you mean?
Yeah, probably right in front of the house, maybe right down here, I would say.
So like.
Yeah, that's perfect. And again, Brendan Faywell was placed on administrative leave after teaching forbidden magic to his most advanced students. And this was very out of character for Brendan.
Do you think he'll teach us forbidden magic?
Does Gilzap say that out loud?
Yes.
I'm certainly going to ask him.
Yes.
Is that a good idea?
No, it is
absolutely.
not.
Yes.
Gilzap just said that at the same time.
Right? Yeah, and it's just kind of an unassuming residence. It's kind of a small house. And it kind of looms before you. No other signs of life. The windows are all kind of, the blinds are all drawn in the windows. So it's kind of difficult to peek in. What will you do?
Elspeth's going to go up and knock on the door. She knows wizards.
Okay.
She doesn't think much of them, but she knows them.
Okay.
Really funny because wizards also don't think much of sorcerers, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm gonna follow behind
right.
you and also kind of like. You said the windows were really hard to peer into, but can you, if you stick your head right next to them?
You might be able to, yeah. You might be able to peer in just a bit.
I'm a nosy neighbor. Let's peer into those windows while we're following.
Okay. Yeah, which window? There's a window here, here, and here. I tried to leave those visible on the map, but I'll try them.
That one.
Okay. All right. Kind of looking through there, you can kind of find a small crack through the blinds. You peer into what looks like maybe a living room. Some decent furniture arranged. You don't see any other anything else in there. There's a coffee table. You can see it's got some items on it. Those might pique your interest. What looks like maybe books or something.
Does it look like a wealthy guy, a guy who has a little bit of extra money to spare that I could like talk him out of if I wanted to?
Possibly. You never know.
Okay.
It lives a fairly simple life, but ministers of administrators and whatnot, professors from the Arcanics Academy of Magic, they tend to they do have opportunities to accumulate wealth. As you look around, this it's kind of it's an old place, but it's a decent place. It's probably all
He
paid
owns
for,
a house.
right? You never know.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, knocking on the door, right?
Nope.
All right. Let me see here. So as you knock on the door, something kind of odd happens. The door kind of like pushes open to your knock. It's like almost as if the door was not latched. So when you knocked, it actually just kind of pushed it open just a little bit.
I'm on the immediate like alert for traps and also intruders.
There's almost certainly a dead body in here now, isn't there?
You guys come in the dead variety?
What's that?
You meat bags. You come in the dead variety? Sorry, that was a robot diss.
Okay. Yes, the door stands beside you. It's open maybe about 3 or 4 inches.
Did I notice any signs of any like disturbances? I didn't through the window, right?
When you peered through, not that you could tell, everything looked in pretty good order. You didn't see any like signs of struggle or anything like that. It just kind of, it's just kind of a nice. What you saw was just kind of looked like kind of a nice living room, at least a sliver of a nice living room.
Yeah, so probably we won't encounter immediate danger soon as we walk into that area of the building.
Okay. Yep.
So
I think Sap is just, or Elspeth is going to just go ahead and use the gust cantrip to open the door the rest of the way.
Okay.
And I am going to sneak.
Okay.
I'll cast guidance on Gilzaf if I notice them getting in like a crouch position, ready to sneak.
Okay.
It's exactly like a Bethesda game. I've gone from this to this.
Okay. Good. All right. So it opens up. The door opens up, and the daylight from the front door kind of spills in, and it's just kind of this. Looks like just kind of a quaint little living room. A coffee table with some books, maybe what looks like a game on there. 2 leather chairs, a decent couch, and a bookshelf with books. And that's kind of when there's just a nasty smell, just a nasty aroma that kind of rises up. Smells like something just rotten.
Can we tell what direction it's coming from?
As you step in, it looks like it gets a little stronger as you step in further, moving in towards the back of the house.
Do I notice my companions reacting to the stench at all? I don't smell anything.
I
I have no need to breathe.
Elspeth was actually about to ask you if you can smell.
I can deliberately use my olfactory sense, but I have no need to breathe, so I don't normally do that.
Okay, well, I mean, she is actually just straight up asking Gilsa, little metal, do you smell? Are you capable of smelling? I don't know how this works.
Oh, is there a scent? Hold on just 1 second. It's exactly what happens.
Does that smell like a
A
corpse
giant-
to you?
It smells
Does it
like
smell like a
something
corpse to me?
rotting.
Have you smelled a corpse before? Like a rotten
I
corpse?
don't. Yeah, I don't think that I was in the Morning Lands where there was a bunch of dead bodies, but I don't think any of them rotted.
I certainly have.
Oh.
I've
I would
smelled
not have recognized
rotten fruit, rotten bodies left by predators in the swamp. Can I flick my tongue in and out and get a taste of the air to sense the whether or not this is more of a vegetation or like an actual meat type of rotting?
Yeah. Yeah, depending on what you're familiar with, it doesn't really seem like meat or vegetation at all. But it's definitely like something rotting. It's kind of a gross smell. The air is just kind of stagnant as well. Like it's been a while since a window's been opened.
Well, I refuse to smell this anymore, so I'm shutting off my olfactory sense, I say out loud. But in a whisper, because I'm speaking.
I'm gonna go further inside.
Okay.
I am going to follow you.
Take a few
Good.
cautionary steps in.
Actually,
Okay.
Elspeth is going to actually. Do you think one or more of you should maybe open the windows to get a little bit of breeze going in there to get that out?
As you're standing at the door still.
Yeah. She is not going into that when there's windows. She knows there's windows. You don't have to smell things.
I don't mind
you
a
can open the
secondary
window
exit
if you
out.
like.
Yeah, I'll open the window if the window seems to be readily openable.
There's a latch at the bottom that you just move. You kind of rotate it, and you're able to lift the window once that latch is unlatched.
I'm gonna do that, and then come back over to here.
Yeah, and just the brightness of the day just seems to really contrast with the darkness of this living room. It's it's a little just kind of a dark place. Obviously, it's like no light that's penetrated this place in a while.
I'm going to go to this door right here on the right hand side. I'm going to try to see if it's locked or not. Try to open it.
Okay. Sorry, that's actually an open entryway, an open way into the dining room. Fist, the further back into the house you go, you notice the smell is emanating from coming through this walkway here.
Okay, I will go that
and
way.
then and Xylic. Let me open up that room so you guys can both. Let me open up both those rooms so you guys can see. Okay.
After a few seconds of walking through the room, I'm just gonna call out, Brandon. Hello.
Okay. Good. All right. Your voice just kind of echoes all throughout the house. It's kind of an eerie feeling. If anything was in there, anybody was in there to have made that if anybody was inside this house, your voice has been heard. Your presence is known. You stand and you're looking into what looks like a dining room. There's a small bowl here on the table with looks like different kinds of fruits, pears, peaches, maybe from the orchards outside. They're all it looks like they've all been there for quite a while. They're rotted and moldy. Fist, as you peer into this way, you step into this hallway with a door here. It looks like a closet, and a door here, which seems to lead to the backyard.
Okay.
Peering through here, you peer into the kitchen, and you just see a bunch of flies moving around, and the smell is just kind of rank coming from that room.
Okay.
Stepping into the kitchen,
Yeah.
you see the source of whatever it was that was causing it. There's some food, looks like maybe some eggs or something like that, that was being cooked at one point, and it looks like it was just left on. The magic or whatever that is used to heat the metal is still in place. It's still heating. It's like it's been kind of burning and heating the stuff it sat for a very long time until finally the safety mechanisms that are left therein turned everything off, and it just kind of was left to rot.
All right,
There's a crate in the
yeah,
middle. There's a crate in the corner of apples, presumably from the orchards outside. They've been there for quite some time as well. None of them look very appetizing.
Okay.
I have to ask, very important question for this environment here.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a toilet in this kitchen?
No, there's no. What did we decide that was?
Toilet stove. It was a toilet stove.
A toilet stove.
Mhm.
There's no toilet stove here, but there should be. There should be one in all of my maps going forward.
Yeah, I was
right?
gonna say, Gilzef's like, there's something wrong here.
It's missing something, right?
Missing. I
This
have
stove is
huge
shaped
earth.
all wrong.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I'll be right back.
Apparently,
It's kind of an odd situation.
Oh, cool.
I think
Mhm.
what I'm gonna do is take like the pan or whatever the eggs were cooking on, just take
Mhm.
it and toss it out back for now.
Okay.
So like you said, this is
Yeah.
like a door to out back.
Yeah, it looks like a door leading to a porch out back. You can just kind of throw whatever that is.
I think I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
that's
like toss it out back and leave the back door open for some air.
Okay. You bet. Stepping out there, there's a small pile of wood that's got a lot of, it's got a lot of debris on top of it, a lot of leaves and whatnot. Nobody's used the firewood there for quite some time. And glancing out back, you can see into the grove, trees, the orchard, the garden out here, and just some shrubbery and trees around the backyard. Yeah, good. Laura?
Sorry. When did the Belfron say that everything started happening?
It was a few months ago when
A few months ago. Okay.
when the City Stones came on the market. It was shortly thereafter when everything kind of been going to crap. Well, I guess
It's not
at least
like
that was when these
this
strange
happened
occurrences
last
showed up.
week, and this is like weird that everything's
Right.
rotted. Okay. Sorry.
Right. Yeah.
I couldn't remember, so I thought I'd ask. Just
Yeah, it's all good.
Elspeth is pondering these doors. This is like a double
Okay.
door. Is that what am I getting that right?
Yeah, the door here.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's it looked like French doors, I guess, kind of like that might open up into like in traditional architecture, it opens up into a sunroom. This one looks like it's from the looks of the outside of the house. This was built out into to be like a completely functional room. The doors they just kind of have like a gridded pattern window, and there are blinds on the other side that are drawn, concealing anything that you might be able to see on the other side.
And they're not ajar like the front door was or anything.
No, they're closed. Mm-hmm. However, there's no visible lock on the door.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Thunderclap time?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you create a burst of thunderous sound that can be heard from 100 feet away. Each creature within range other than you must make a Constitution saving throw or take 1d6 thunder damage. Within 100 feet.
No,
just
the
about
range.
everybody.
The range is 5 feet.
Okay, sorry, 5 feet.
Yeah,
Right.
and everyone
Okay, my
can
bad.
hear. Everyone
can hear from 100 feet away. Okay, not a problem. Yeah, so no con saves for anybody. Just really loud, just a really loud noise. You all hear an enormous boom, and the doors are thrown ajar. The range is 5 feet, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So they're just kind of on that border of 5 feet. So they just kind of like they just go boom, and they kind of like fall open. Okay.
Fist is gonna come running at that to see what all the commotion is. Sees that like Elsbeth just like casts a spell and she goes, ugh.
The doors open ajar, revealing what looks like a small office. and just kind of an older gentleman sits behind a desk in this office. Looks like he's got some books and some papers and whatnot. He's kind of working on his desk a little bit. He looks very unkept, like it's been a lot of days since he's groomed or shaved. But he looks up at you, startled from the noise, and he looks directly at you and says, "Elsbeth."
You know
Yes,
this person?
Brandon.
Do they know each other?
I knew there'd be a study somewhere in here. I figured it would be this one. Why would you put
Of
it on the
course.
second floor?
Yeah. Well, you know, old architecture. Why didn't you reapply?
Reapply? No, no, no. Waste my time? No.
Unfortunate. He stands up and he takes, it's kind of, instead of walking around the desk like a normal person, he stands up and just makes a direct, like a direct path to stand in front of you.
Like he steps onto the desk and then off of it.
Like just gets up from his chair and steps on the desk as if there was just a direct path, as if it was just, as if there were no obstacles at all. Behind him, you can kind of see what looks like a bunch of papers and whatnot.
Elspeth does take a step back to keep at least 5 feet of distance between them.
Okay.
And her hand is held up just like this, because that's where death comes out of her.
Okay.
I was gonna ask, can I like sense this guy being like a threat, or is he just being like strange and like oddly walking towards him? Because this interaction's already putting me on edge.
Yeah, you can go ahead and run a quick insight check if you like. See if you can get a beat on this guy.
+5. I'm gonna use that. 23.
Okay, excellent. This is not normal humanoid behavior for this culture. Usually people get up and walk around the desk. They don't get up and walk over the desk, setting their feet on whatever precious items might be on the desk, and then stepping down just nonchalantly, and then taking a direct path. So you know that was like the first thing. The second is just kind of the weird demeanor, just very calm, and also to your knowledge, there's no reason for this individual to know Elspeth's name.
Right. Just for safety's sake, I am going to reach out my hand and I'm going to cast Shield of Faith on Elspeth, granting her +2 to her AC.
Okay. All right, Shield of Faith. Elspeth, you just feel feel kind of a magic welling up behind you. And it's just kind of a comforting, almost kind of like putting on a nice warm coat on a cold day. You feel this kind of fortification about you that kind of wraps around you, and just feel this kind of like this additional barrier of protection.
I'm going to because I also came over here when I heard the thunderclap. I can't like as a feature probe a dude's mind. But just with my psionic training and powers, can I sense any, I guess, like intent or like surface level like psychic energy?
Right. If you can think of anything you can do. Go ahead.
Telepathic link, but that does require like consent, so that's probably not gonna work out very well.
Okay.
Probably just like an insight specifically on like his psychic health.
Sure.
You know?
Okay. Yeah. definitely. You can run an insight and just kind of try to get a beat on what this guy's thinking, what he's doing. Mm-hmm.
And Falcon, does Xylek still concentrating on guidance at all?
No.
Okay.
I'm concentrating on Shield of Faith now.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
Plus,
think so. I just
guidance,
wanted to make
guidance
sure.
only lasts like a round or two,
That's true.
or a minute. I think it's very short.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I rolled a 24 on insight.
All right. Yeah. So you know that this is whatever's going on here. It's not normal. This is completely out of, and based on the intel that you have, this is completely out of character for this person to be acting like this. Usually, when someone comes through the door of their house, and then they're they get a little miffed. They're worried about that. It's usually when somebody uses something like a thunderclap to open the door of their office, there's a little bit of there's a bit of excitement that ensues directly afterwards. This dude is being very calm and acting very focused, very thoughtful, very deliberate, and his gaze is fixed solely upon Elsbeth. Elsbeth, you should reapply.
That's lovely. Now, what's how's your administrative leave going?
Irrelevant. Your powers,
Not really,
your
because
abilities.
I was very curious about the circumstances that led you to it.
Your curiosity will be of no use. You must be tested. He lunges towards you.
I did not prepare anything, so I cannot react to that.
I just slap him with that.
Okay. Gust of wind. Give me a quick dexterity check, just real fast.
Check or save?
I didn't
We'll do
find
it.
any events about.
We'll do a check. Sorry. It's a very fancy watch. It talks.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's able to. Let me see. All right. Not a very high roll. Let's see.
No, it's not.
But the gust of wind definitely goes off. He makes contact with you. You feel a slashing about your neck as what looks like something sharp has kind of made contact with that. It's a superficial wound. It almost as if they didn't really mean to almost as if trying to make contact to see if you know what you would do. The gust of wind does go off. It does blow him up. Let me read this here. A line of strong wind, 60 feet long and 10 feet wide, blasts from you in a direction that you choose, going straight forward towards him, I presume, right?
Yeah, that space between the two windows is where she was planning to slam him.
Okay, you bet. It's a bit of an off. You didn't quite react as quickly as you wanted to off of the 4 with the dexterity, but it does go off. It blows him in an upward direction. He hits the ceiling, and there's just this loud crack in the ceiling as you see the imprint of him in the ceiling up in the plaster. He lands on the floor, and this would have knocked any normal person pretty inoperable at this point. He gets up, his body broken, and just kind of still stands up. As you see his joints and mechanisms, the parts that make his body kind of move and whatnot, they're obviously broken, but he still kind of stands up, almost as if animated, and looks directly at you. Impressive. What else do you have?
React to that.
Okay.
Because I feel like as a pretty fast rogue, right? You,
okay.
React kind of fast. So I'm gonna stand in front of Elspeth.
Okay.
With my hands appear to be empty, but they are ready. If he tries to attack her again, I will also attack.
You should
Okay.
not stand directly in front of Elspeth because that's where the storm winds are going.
Unless your storm winds start below your knees.
It's a 60-foot line that's 10 feet wide, so
Yeah, it's
yeah,
like a.
you might want to be a little askance.
Can I stand between your legs?
Well, no, because the other thing was when I cast spells, was going to use the bonus action for tempestuous magic to scooch back with a little bit of
Oh, got it.
handy
Okay.
flying. So you
In
might
that
want to
case-
just be offset a little as opposed to direct range,
Yeah,
because that's
be-
enough winds to keep most things from getting to her.
I'll be there then. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right,
I'd
moving there and then.
be there to help you if you need it again.
Okay.
Not that it looks like
Tempestuous
did, but,
magic. Okay. Yeah, and what was it you're looking to? What was it looking to do in that position, Gilza?
My hands don't appear to be holding anything, but they are open and ready, almost as if I'm holding a knife. My psychic knives are when you take the attack action, you can manifest a blade. So I'm holding an attack for his attack.
Sure.
And if he were to attack, then I would manifest the blade and either throw it or stab it, depending on how close he is to me.
Okay, you got it. All right, so let's go ahead and incorporate that into a turn sequence. Let me bring up the turn order real quick. And let me clear it just real quick. Sorry. Remove all turns, clear. There we go.
It came up cleared for me, but
okay. Yeah, sorry. If you like your roll, you can keep it, but feel free to roll again if you need.
I'm good with a 19.
Okay, you want that 19 back?
Yes, please.
All right.
You need me to
13.
Actually, I was gonna say I can just roll it and then edit, right? Or you got it.
Yeah, I got it there. Gilzaf with a 6.
That's okay.
DM with a 14.
I think Justice is gonna stay out of the turn order because he's protecting a child outside.
When it was too smelly, Justice was just like, no, I'm not bringing my child into that.
Honestly, he's probably going through the apple orchard, pointing out all the apples to Tia.
Exactly, that's what
and explaining the different kinds and whether or not these apples are good or they suck and whether they need to be harvested or what.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you got it. Xylet, what was your?
I'm not in the initiative order.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
I got a 7.
All right.
We're so prepared.
Yeah. Do I get a sense of undeath from this guy? Is like broken limbs and he's coming back up and.
You can detect that. You can detect that innately, right?
Not innately. I just kind of.
Right. Okay.
Know,
I mean,
unless being a cleric, like a nature cleric in particular, whether or not I would be able to sense undeath or not.
Right. You may have had run-ins with zombies before and may have seen undeath in different manifestations. This doesn't strike you as being undead. Okay. I mean, it's clearly flesh, broken flesh. Right. And it's moving around like a zombie. It doesn't have the same, or it doesn't really have the same feel or whatever. It's kind of hard to say.
Gotcha.
When I did my insight roll, I'm assuming I used some sort of psychic sense with that. Did I sense a mind at all? Like I can't read the mind, but I sensed a mind. Like
you did.
Most zombie type undead probably don't have a mind.
Usually a blank baseline with zombies.
Yeah, some of
those
the
definitely
better ones do, like a lich or something, but not zombies.
Right. Yep. Yeah, there was definitely an entity there. Definitely some kind of an intelligence.
Okay.
There. Yeah. He gets up. And he's kind of getting up, and we'll move that into the turn base. Gilzap holding a reaction. We'll start the turn with Elsbeth. What will you do?
There's not another visible Lucidia stone in this room from where I am, right?
No, not that you can see.
Cool. I will maintain concentration on that gust of wind, keep it focused on him with one hand, and the other hand is going to give him a little one of these.
Okay. Ray of Frost.
Yep. That's a 14 for the roll.
Okay. All right. 14 is a hit.
It's 5 cold and reduces his speed by 10 feet.
Okay.
And otherwise, just going to keep the wind focused. And in addition, it's going to be... So, give us a little more, or this is not going to end in a particularly good fashion for anyone except, I guess, me, which is, I'm enjoying this.
Okay. All right. He's getting up on his feet. He hears your taunt. Doesn't seem to enter a retort. But does prepare for his next attack. And he's just focusing straight on you, Elsbeth. So it's a little weird. But yeah. Anything else on your turn, Elsbeth?
No, because there's Xylek right behind her, and she can't really move the line of the wind without causing trouble right now. So she'll stay as is. But at the beginning of his turn, he does need to make a strength save.
Okay. You got it. I'll run that. That's a 16 on the strength save.
Okay, so the DC was 15.
Okay.
So he's not pushed away, but it's still every square is difficult terrain, and his speed is decreased by 10.
Okay. You got it. Let's see. He tries to move forward, and there's this gust of wind. How long does that sit for?
That's concentration.
Duration?
Yep, it's concentration.
As long as you keep it up. Minute. Okay, you got it. All right, so he's going to try and move forward. Let's see. Movement is reduced by 10, right?
Yes. And it's difficult terrain every square.
Is he doing that aggressively?
He seems pretty aggressive.
Like he's going to attack, because if he's going to attack, that would activate.
Yeah, he is going to attack. Yep, I'll put him back in that spot there.
I mean, you can put him next to my friend, which would give me my sneak attack if you want.
Either way, if that's your strategy, if that's how it would happen, which it likely is, right? Go ahead and make that attack if you need to.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying that's 4 extra d6.
Right.
I always forget how high level we are.
Yeah. So that would be an 8 plus 7 is 15 to hit.
Okay. 15 is a hit.
And then that would be 5, 8, 11. Wait. 5, 8, 10, 13, 16. That was easier math. 16 damage. And it is what you saw was just what looked like Gilzaf, because he's clearly like going for an attack but fighting against wind. It looked like Gilzaf just went with his hand, like slapped him.
Mm-hmm.
But what he would have felt if he was paying any attention was what felt like a dagger going in.
Okay.
So like if you looked really carefully, you probably saw like a little green energy. But otherwise you didn't see anything. Like nobody else saw anything.
Okay.
And that
like a puncture, but like a magical puncture.
Yeah. And it would have left behind a magical It deals psychic damage, so I don't actually think it would leave behind a puncture at all either.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
that would have been, how much did I say? 16 psychic damage.
Uh-huh. Okay. 16 psychic damage. All right. Let me see.
Oh, there's my dice. I dropped one of my dice when I rolled.
It's the worst. Then you gotta try and find it. It's underneath the table.
Mhm.
Right.
And like dark down there. I had to use my flashlight.
There we go. Okay. All right. So yeah, dealing. Let me double check the psychic. Okay.
And I
All
can
right,
only
so-
do one attack, right? Like on a reaction.
On
Yeah.
reaction, you get one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Cool.
On
And
your
then
turn,
you've
though,
held-
there's more fun.
Yeah. If you'd held your turn, then you'd get the turn. But if you were holding an action, then yeah.
yeah, I was just holding an action.
Right. So yeah, slinging that strike, dealing psychic damage, like a green energy that emanates about your hand. Bringing in, you can kind of feel that connection to your strike. You feel that puncture wound entering his psyche. It deals the damage, and you can't quite tell at the moment. You can't tell if it's super effective or if it's not so much. But you do feel that you did inflict a wound, and it kind of reacted to that strike. Yeah. Good. It will begin its turn. It slashes forth at Elsbeth. Let's see how well it does. Okay. All right. So it can make 3 attacks. The first one is going to be a miss. Because that's a pretty well. Sorry, we'll put it to the dice. 13. Does that hit you, Elsbeth?
It does not.
Okay. What I thought. The second one is an 18.
That would hit, yes.
You do still have Shield of Faith on you, so
Yeah, I've got that included.
Increasing armor class. Okay. And third attack is a 16.
Which also hits, yeah.
Okay. All right. It is so it is 24 piercing damage with the 2 attacks. With an additional 5 psychic damage. Actually, never mind. Never mind the psychic damage. Just 24 points piercing damage.
I was gonna be like twinsies.
Right? Could be. Okay. All right. Let's see. And it just kind of like it comes through. And the first one is a miss. You're able to evade that attack. The second one comes through and makes contact, and the third one comes through and makes contact, dealing that damage. And it says, "Show me your might. Show me what you can do." Okay, that's the end of its turn. We move to Fist.
I will be right back, y'all. Sorry.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Okie dokie. This'll come up here. And make an attack. She's going. How bad do we need this guy alive?
Right. Mm-hmm. And that's something you'll need to evaluate. Is it, it's clearly the person of interest in the investigation. But then again, is it really Brendan?
Yeah, he seems to be attacking just regardless of his body's injuries.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like
And his
another one of the train injuries, so it's like, even if I do non-lethal damage, he might still crack open.
Yeah.
And his body is broken. You can see as you approach Fist, you can see like just massive wounds. There's misshapen ligaments and whatnot bleeding profusely through onto his nice teacher suit, whatever they wear, right? And yeah, and it's but nevertheless he's still on his feet, still making attacks.
All right, and I think I'm gonna go into a rage.
Okay.
Because clearly this guy isn't himself.
Okay.
Alright, so I'm gonna make an unarmed attack. Oof, that's a 10. These dice aren't liking me today. Hold on.
Okay.
Now you roll nicely. No, that one's still rolling like shit. That one's still rolling like shit. Oh, that one got a nat 20. Okay, so let's try that one. So I'm going to use my bonus action to use another unarmed strike.
Okay. Alright, swing away.
That's a little bit better.
You're multi-class, that's why I was like, don't you have multi-attack? You're multi-class.
15?
Okay, 15 is a hit on this creature.
Yeah, okay. That is going to be 7 damage. I think I want to... Hold on, I have to see if this is like a separate thing or just a thing I can do. Was it...
Okay.
Under here. Yeah, I'm gonna use my Forged Heart ability. So my unarmed strikes are considered adamantine weapons. In addition, when I hit a creature with an unarmed attack, I can spend 1 key point to cause it to make a strength saving throw.
Okay.
What is my DC?
8 plus wisdom plus proficiency if it's a monk thing.
Yeah, I think it's 3. I think it's 12.
Okay. Alright, if it's 12, it's a fail.
Okay. Then on a failed save, the creature takes 2d6 additional damage.
Okay.
And can be pushed up to 15 feet away. So I'm gonna push him away from Elspeth.
Okay.
So if
Couple things will happen there.
That'll be max damage in addition 12.
Okay. So what's the total damage amount?
So that was 12 plus 7. So 19. Bludgeoning.
Okay. All right. That's a pretty devastating attack.
Mm-hmm.
You deal a massive amount of damage to this creature, cutting into its flesh, just kind of making a big meat pile out of it. The push back causes it to kind of lose its own footing.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets kind of blown into that gust of wind. Elspeth, are you still holding concentration on that gust of wind?
Yeah, the con save was to make sure that I had concentration on it.
Okay, you got it. He's blown into that gale, and he smashes against the back wall.
Yes.
It comes forward, impacts the desk, kind of bounces off the wall with a clamor and a clatter. Hits the front of the desk on his head and then falls to the ground, lifeless.
Are we then out of turn, or are we still in turn?
We'll pull out of combat at this point.
Okay, then I will drop my
moving.
rage.
Okay.
The body didn't happen to crack open, did it?
No.
And have a little thing pop out of it?
No.
I'm gonna go over to it, and I'm just gonna hold my hand on his ear just in case
Mhm.
he magically comes back to life, because that was
Okay.
a broken body coming at me, and y'all
Yeah.
meatbags don't
Right.
normally do that.
Okay.
I'd like to kind of do the same and just stand over it in a regular
Okay.
action, just to be more. I'd like to kind of
Okay.
take a look at it, see if I can understand what, like, why he was able to do. Like, is there actually any semblance between this attack
Mhm.
and the passengers on the train, or like this was something completely different?
Okay. Right.
If you're manipulating his body, I'm holding both of his ears, so I'm moving his head
Okay.
for you.
Okay.
All right, then. Yeah.
All right.
It's
Good. Good.
quick.
Fist,
Your brain
where?
there.
Okay. So we've got Gilzap just kind of trying to like stabilize, right? Stabilize the head. Is that right?
I'm holding my hands to his ears so that I can psychic daggers like in through his ears if
Okay.
I need
Yeah,
to.
If you need to, you can. Gotcha. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Good. Okay. And then Xylit, you are
I'm
kind of
I'm investigating the body, trying to see if I can.
investigating.
Yeah.
Okay. You got it. Fist, tell me what you're up to.
Now that my rage has dropped, I am also going to go to the body and try and see if any of those ghost thingy comes out of it, like on the train.
Okay. Right on. Okay. It's good. So far, right now, it's just lifeless. Elsbeth, what are you up to?
Once everyone's moving like in that way, and it's clear that the body is not immediately getting back up under its own power, she'll let the wind go, and then given that everyone is very clearly intent on the body, she will ignore the body and go towards the desk and the masses of papers and the books to see if anything
Okay.
sticks out to her trained wizardry eye.
Okay. You got it. All right. So looking at the desk, the first thing that you kind of see is it looks like papers on the desk that are being with a lot of notes being scrawled about. It's a language you don't quite recognize. And that's when Gilzaf, Fist, Xylik, you're all kind of examining this body, looking to run, do all that. Did you want to do an investigation check, Xylik?
Sure.
Okay.
And
Yeah, go ahead
I'll
and.
assist with that.
Okay. Helping to investigate.
Okay, guidance on myself before I do this. Nice. 13 total.
Okay.
Nice.
Good. All right. The body is it's dressed in the traditional attire for a professor of magic from the Arcanics School of Magic. It's kind of a traditional garb that they wear when teaching, which is weird because usually they don't just wear their work clothes all the time. So obviously, whatever happened to this individual, it's almost as if their life was just put on pause, maybe in the middle of cooking breakfast or whatever some weeks ago. There's a in his pocket. There's a small pocket watch, and that's when there's a shift in the body and the eyes open wide up at looking directly at you.
Oh.
Can I
Inquisitive.
whack him with some psychic daggers?
Okay, you gonna do that? Yeah. All right, go for it.
Yeah, sorry. Any twitch, I'm gonna.
Any twitch?
Yeah,
yep.
it's
Trigger.
an action and a bonus action attacks.
Go for it.
Sorry if that would have been helpful, but that is a 22 to hit and a crit fail on the bonus. So
okay.
Does this guy count as prone? Because if so, those attacks would have advantage.
Oh, well, in that case.
Indeed. Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's on his back. But yeah.
So instead, a 22 still, because that was the highest one still. And a 16.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
First one dealt 10, 15, 16, 17 psychic.
Okay.
And second one,
Are you applying your sneak attack to this?
yes, because everyone's around him. So 17, and then also 10, 13 for a total of 30 damage.
2.
All right.
Psychic
So
damage.
yeah, there's just that jolt, and it begins to speak, says something to the effect of elves, and that's when you let loose with the with the blades, with the mind sliver blades. They just they erupt into this creature's head, and it's kind of like it's you kind of feel it. There's usually an impact, but it's almost like I don't know. It's like you didn't hit it very hard, but it just explodes. It's like maybe gently dropping a like a neon light or something like that. It just kind of like bursts, and it kind of makes a mess everywhere. And that's when you see this apparition rise up. Large blue eyes, and it just kind of passes off into obscurity, into nothingness, leaving you with just kind of a flesh and mess about the room.
Has anybody in the room besides me not seen that?
I mean, I assume I saw it happen right at me, right?
Yeah, all of you guys were there for that. Is there anything then that is particularly for me noticing or seeing that for the first time?
It's a little disconcerting, right? It's just this apparition that you see with these large blue eyes that kind of rises up like a personage, like a spirit or something like that, and just kind of and then just kind of disappears, fades into nothingness.
I'm gonna give a little abortive shriek and say, "Sorry, he twitched."
There you go.
I would have done the same thing.
Also,
Okay.
I'm sure if you shine a light in y'all's meatbag ears, you could probably see it's a little hole, right? You could see right onto the brain in there, right? That's why I did that.
Sure.
Your companions are just kind of a little dumbfounded. Right?
Anatomy, what's that?
Sure.
I don't know. You humans and elves are quite different myself, so and dwarfs too. Well, I guess I can't be surprised that we came across another one of these dreamers. I think they're calling themselves something. Yeah, we are the dreamers. So,
and for those tuning in, it was like there was what was spoken at the very end of the last adventure, right? Saying we are the dark, we are the dreamers. Your world will be ours. Okay.
Yep.
This appears to be a person of influence who was most likely taken over by one of these apparitions. What languages do you speak, Elspeth?
It is Common, Elven, Gnomish, and Primordial. So any of the elemental planes.
Okay. So the writings on the parchment on the desk are not in a language that you would recognize. They look very strange. And that's kind of when the rest of you notice Elspeth poring over these writings on the desk.
I 100% want to look at them too.
Okay.
The only two languages that I know that you don't are Goblin and Thieves' Cant.
Okay. Right.
Are there any obvious magical diagrams, or is this all like writing?
It appears to be writing. If there are magical diagrams, they would probably be written into the script. Maybe less obvious.
Someone who's versed in coding, like coded messages, which is what my Thieves' Cant is. It's not a language that I recognize, but does it look like a language that I recognize in code? at all?
You can maybe try to build phonetics if you can decipher. If you're able to maybe decipher, structure, things like that. Does anybody else? Any languages anybody else speaks? Fist?
Only Common and Dwarven.
Common
I
and
speak-
Dwarven? Okay.
Draconic, Druidic, and Sylvan.
Okay. Yeah, nothing anybody would really know right here. But I mean, Gilzap, you might be able to run some calculations and try to C3PO this if you want.
Yeah.
It'd be
Yeah.
a fairly high DC on an intelligence check, but you're welcome to try.
I would love to try just because Gilsaft is just like really well versed in like I'm not a spy, but if I were a spy,
Uh-huh.
I would be communicating in secret codes all of the time.
Sure.
And so those would be a thing that I know. I'm not a spy though, I promise.
Of course not.
I probably did not pass that really high DC. Saving ability is 1, so that's an 11.
An 11. Okay. Yeah, it's not coming through real clear. You can kind of pick up some rhythmic forms, some bit of like how conversations might be held or whatever, just that rhythm of dialogue. But you're not really able to decipher exactly what it says. This is a language that none of you have seen or are familiar with
I know
before.
then.
Yeah, but you never know.
Well, they
it
might
might-
as well collect that paperwork and bring it back to the station.
Very,
Okay.
very true.
Maybe they'll have somebody.
I would also
Okay.
love to search this desk for any other hidden
Sure.
things,
Yeah, you bet.
which would be a 17 investigation.
Yep. All right, moving through the desk. You do find kind of mostly miscellaneous items that are found on the desk. Notebooks, parchments, things like that. Most of it looks like stuff that a professor of magic would hold on to. Class listings, things like that. You also see a couple of file folders that like a file cabinet kind of thing, or equivalent of a file cabinet, and it's just kind of has different departments of what's going on. One for different classes that are taught. One for admissions to the school. One for different policies and procedures that are happening. Things like that.
And there's no
Um,
hidden like compartments in this desk.
Sorry, tell me again the number on the investigation roll.
17.
17. That's right. Okay. You do find a hidden compartment. There is a key in there.
Is it trapped?
Well, the time to ask was I don't know. We'll see.
Before I used an investigation?
It's
Oh,
possibly. It was not trapped, actually. Thankfully, it's one of those spots where you press on one of the designs of the desk. It's kind of an ornately carved desk, and you just kind of push the nose of the reindeer or whatever, and it's like it goes pop and it comes out. There's a small key in there.
and the key is okay. The key is in the compartment. I thought the key was like in a.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, the key is
I
in the compartment.
Yeah, and hold it up.
Okay.
And then do this, and it's gone.
Okay.
Hmm.
It is
That's
gone.
very cute. Can I have those folders, please?
I don't care. I can't read them. Probably.
Mhm.
Here's your papers. I would care about papers, but here you go.
Hmm.
Okay. Elizabeth, what are you interested in there with those papers?
She's going to take those for later reading.
I mean,
The all the stuff related to the school specifically.
Okay. All right. You got it. So, you're pretty sure that's about all for the desk. There is a bookshelf here that does contain numerous books that would be held by a professor of magic. There is the upstairs to have a look at, and then whatever else you might discover.
I'll go over to the bookcase and look for specific books about weather patterns and their relations to emotions.
And
Right.
I'd like to take a look at that pocket watch that I was able to
Ooh,
Sure.
snag out of his.
that's probably important.
Okay. Okay. All right. The pocket watch is, let's see. It's a finely crafted pocket watch. It's got a lot of little mechanisms and things like that. It's kind of like what they call it, a skeleton clock, right?
Okay.
And then, popping that open, you can kind of see a picture of what looks like a young girl, maybe age, I don't know, 12, maybe. Maybe a niece, maybe a daughter. Hard to say. And then, and it's probably worth. It's a pretty nice watch. It's worth maybe about 15 gold.
Okay, I'll hold on to it.
Okay. All right. Popping through the bookcase, you do see a couple of books on on magic, things like that. You do find. Let's see. I need to grab my tables real quick.
Also looking for any books that appear to be in the language that those notes were written in.
Okay. Yeah.
Elspeth is only giving the bookshelves a cursory glance in case there's a title of something that she knows is a forbidden tome or something like that.
Okay.
But otherwise, she's not interested.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you see. Let's see. You're looking for. So you don't see anything in the language that would match what was on the parchment. Not at all. These are. It looks like this bookshelf was fairly undisturbed by whatever took over Brendan. And you just kind of look through, and you do pick up a couple of. You're able to pick up a couple of spell books actually that would teach somebody how to learn about 3 different. Well, let me put it to the dice. 4 different spells.
Ooh. What are they?
They are dominate monster. The first one.
Monster.
Spiritual weapon is the second one.
Spirit weapon.
Entangle is the third.
Entangle.
And the fourth is firestorm.
Firestorm. I'm gonna toss that one over to Elspeth. That sounds like something that she might be interested in. And I'm going to toss all of the rest of them to somebody who knows magic, because I don't.
Are these books or scrolls?
They're books that can teach you they're spell books.
Okay. Like a wizard spell book?
You could say a wizard spell book.
Okay.
You would have to, if I'm recalling that right about the rules of D&D, you have to be a magic class to learn spells from things.
To learn the spells. Right. Scrolls are they're one-time use and anybody can use them. These are books that are made to teach magic users. All right.
Hee dominate monster. Hey,
dominate monster.
Dominate yourself.
Yeah. I need no spells to do that.
That was terrible.
Right. All right. You can look about the house. We have about 3 minutes till 1:30. We may want to. I know it's getting a little late on the East Coast, so we can probably draw to close. Anything anybody would like to? Yeah. Anything anybody would like to do before we close out? Any questions that could be answered?
I'd like to go to his garden and harvest any fruits or vegetables and collect them and just kind of save it for ourselves. Because I know we were permitted lodging and such, but I don't have rations food and sustenance provided for us as well. So might as well jump into the garden and see what they have.
Yeah. There's 3 things that you see immediately in the garden. You see a row of tomatoes, a row of lettuce, and a row of aloe vera plants.
And they're all in good enough shape.
They are. It's been a few days. It's been a good while since they've been watered, but they were pretty well kept up until that point. There's enough there for you to take a good haul.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna pull a whole bunch of vegetables.
Okay. Yeah, if we want to put it to the numbers, we'll say you're able to grab 17 tomatoes, 2 large heads of lettuce, and 7 aloe vera plants.
You said 7 aloe vera?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Ooh, lettuce heads. Sounds like
I
we're gonna have
imagine that the
BLTs
lettuce
for
heads
lunch.
are kind of like the lettuce plants in Skyrim.
You mean Nern roots?
Yep. Could be. It's been a while since I played that game. I don't remember lettuce heads. I just remember the vampires. Right.
Cool.
All right. Good. So yeah, there is an upstairs to this house, and there may be more. So with that, I can draw it to a close. Thank you all for playing tonight, and we'll hand the floor back over to our gracious host, Beluga.
Thank you everyone for joining. Just letting you know that tomorrow there will be no Rise of the Rune Lords, no stream tomorrow night. We will be back with Rise of the Rune Lords in 2 weeks on April 4th. But other than that, we will be back next Thursday around 8 p.m. Eastern Time for hopefully the conclusion of Falcons.
Yeah.
Keeps getting pushed back. The finale of Falcon's campaign over the Underdark. But that is all I have for you all, so thank you again for joining. Oh snap, right after my birthday. Yes, it's right after your birthday.
It's your birthday.
Sorry that it doesn't fall on your birthday, because if so, you would get special immunity to dying, because I don't kill anyone on their birthdays.
True.
Aw,
I've
nice.
tested it.
Every day.
You have tested it. But I am Beluga, your guildmaster here at the Role Players Guild. I play Fist of the Queen, the Dwarven Barbarian Monk multi-class. Passing it to Alex and Laura, this is your warning.
All right, everyone. I've been Falcon. I'm your resident cleric, nature domain, stars, druid, lizard folk, multi-class. Name's Zylock. That's me. Laura, go for it.
I'm Laura. I play Gilzath. He's a little tiny autognome robot rogue, and your task and homework, should you choose to accept it, is to determine how a robot got psychic magic. House's turn.
Sounds like that should be your job.
They're looking for ideas because they don't know.
Yeah.
Crowdsourcing.
They do that when they're looking for ideas.
I'm Bee's spouse. I am being puppeteered by this wonderful cat named Tiny.
I knew
Say
it.
hello, Tiny.
Hello, Tiny.
Hello. Here we go.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Bee is not here, but Bee's Justice, everyone's favorite down-home, good old boy, but not in the weird way, apple picking paladin, is out touring the orchards with his 7-year-old.
That's me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wrangling Elspeth, who has little interest, I guess, in subtlety, by blowing doors off their hinges and then slamming questionably living people into things with wind. So I think we all understand her at this point. Jason.
That. Thank you. Yeah, I am Jason, your humble DM and your grateful DM. As always, it's a pleasure to play with y'all. And thank you all so much for this opportunity. And we'll see you all back here in just 2 short weeks for the next installment of the Dream Dealers of Fairhaven.
All right, everyone. Have
Yeah.
a great week, great rest of your week, an amazing weekend. We will see you all hopefully next week, next Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time for Over the Underdark. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you all.